I literally bought a horse sight unseen from 1,000 miles away. I'm so excited to find out what breed our rescue killpen horse really is in today's DNA test results. You want some cookies? Louie is a sucker for cookies. Oh, you dropped one! Hey farm fam, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you that are new, welcome to today's video. Today I have a pretty exciting video because it is all focused about Louie. And if you guys don't know Louie's story, I will tell you guys briefly in just a minute. But we are going to be DNA testing him and finally getting his result of what breed he is. So before I get into why that's so special, make sure that you go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. Make sure you turn on those post notifications so you don't miss any of these videos. What are you doing? Are you taking yourself for a walk? When the video is finally not about Trigger, he has to make it about him. Like I was saying, make sure that you don't forget to put those post notifications on so you don't miss any of these videos and crazy antics from Trigger and the rest of my animals. And lastly, put in the comments down below what breed you think that Louie actually is. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this video and why it's so special that we are finally DNA testing Louie. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you should already know the story about Louie, but if not, I got Louie about 4 to 5 years ago from what they call a killpen. So long story short, in my understanding of it is horses go to auctions and they often can be sold to a kill buyer. So that puts them at a kill pen where then groups will rescue them. Most of the time it's other horse traders just selling horses and calling it rescue. That's a whole nother topic. But for now, the topic of what actually happens with that is the plea is they either get rescued or they go to slaughter at that point. So that's where Louie was. We do know that he came from an auction. The auction was in Kentucky, and then he ended up at a kill pen in Bastrop, Louisiana. So that's over 1,000 miles away from us down here in Southwest Florida. And the only bit of information that I had about him was his possible breed, his possible age, and his possible capabilities. And I say all possible because I bought him pretty much sight unseen. I saw one video of him that was super blurry. And a lot of people even say now that the video doesn't even look like the same horse. I'm not sure if it is or not, but we're past that, so it doesn't matter. But like I said, I literally bought a horse sight unseen from 1,000 miles away, and he ended up here, and he was completely different than what I expected, but I guess you don't really have anything that you can expect when you buy a horse sight unseen. And from a rescue situation, he's actually my second most expensive horse because you have to pay the kill buyer, and then we also had to pay to get him shipped down to Florida. So he's my most expensive horse that can't even be ridden and hardly even really likes people, but it's fine. So why I wanted to give you that backstory is because we actually DNA'd Cash, and a lot of you guys thought it'd be really fun to see what we could come up with and see more about Louie and his breed, because throughout the years on my channel, you guys have said that he looks like an Arabian and a bunch of other different breeds, but I was told that he was a Morgan. Now I don't have papers on him, but I was told that he's a Morgan. I do think he carries a lot of characteristics of a Morgan because Trigger is a registered Morgan, but everybody says different. I don't know. But I figured we'd do a DNA test and find out what we can find out. But to add on, when we got Louie, you could not go near him. You couldn't touch him or anything like that. He's super scared of humans, and in the pasture, you can't catch him. You actually still can't catch him in the pasture, but you can coax him into the barn, into the stall, and he's very food motivated. But as you can see, I'm sitting in here in his stall with him, and he is on alert, but he's letting me come up to him, rub him all over. And he has definitely improved over the years, but he's still very leery of us. Like I said, you can't really get near him really in the pasture. So that's about all he wants me to do with him right now. And he goes off because he's just afraid. But anyways, he's not a mean horse. He's not a mean horse. He's actually, I've tried to say this 3 times now, but the whole barn decides to sing. Anyways, he's not a mean horse. He's just a very scared horse. So we're using the same DNA test program that we use for Cash, because I thought that was pretty accurate, and that's really the only horse DNA testing lab that I can seem to find. So it's the Texas A&M University. So basically what we have to do, we have to collect a hair sample from him all the way down to the follicle, and then we have to send it to the lab and wait a little bit until they get it, and then send me back the results. Same process like we did with Cash. So we need to get those hair follicles from him, but I figured we'd take him out, get him groomed up so I can send them some nice, clean, fresh hair follicles. I'm about to halter him, but like I said, when we got him, you could not even put a halter on him. What's kind of funny though now is he doesn't like to fight. He likes to resist any confrontation. So he knows when he sees the halter in his stall, he should just put his head in. So it's really actually kind of cute what he does. That's a good boy. Like I said, he's not aggressive at all. He wants the least amount of conflict that there can be. but he is afraid to be captured because I think he's afraid of what would possibly happen to him. So, but on the contrary, I think he realizes that we are not going to hurt him, but his past trauma still has a guard up. So now he just sticks his head in his little halter anytime we have to put a halter on him, and he just does what we want. And I might mention the weirdest part about it is when he's haltered, he acts like a completely different horse. He's not very afraid. He's actually pretty calm on lead and halter. All right, buddy, are you ready to get groomed? So I'm just gonna cross tie him, and I love these halters because they have the little rings to perfectly cross tie him on each side of his face. So that's one cross tie. And I have my second cross tie here. And especially with Louie, I always make sure that it's attached to a quick release system. So this is just hay string that the clamps are actually attached to. So in case he pulls back, because he's a spooky horse, like I said, and I don't want him to take my whole barn down. All right, buddy, you ready to get groomed? You are so sweet. Maybe we'll get you some cookies really quick. You want some cookies? Louie is a sucker for cookies. Oh, you dropped one. He's like, I love cookies. Guys, look at that. Can't forget this cookie. Don't take my finger. Good boy. So these are my grooming tools for right now. I have my little curry brush that I brought out and my hard bristle brush. I just have another bristle brush, which this one's kind of on the soft side, mane and tail brush, hoof pick, and then another curry. So let's go ahead and get started grooming him so we can make him nice and clean so that we can actually get some clean hair follicles that aren't filled with dirt. We had our first rain for like the whole season just the other day, and the horses relished in it, and they've been rolling on the muddy ground, so we definitely need to get him nice and groomed up. Starting with my curry, I'm just gonna go ahead and curry all the dirt and dust off him. Now that he's all curried, he looks so good and so shiny, even without brushing any of the actual dust off. Yes, you're so handsome. But now it's time to use my hard bristle brush and brush the loose dirt off. His coat is looking so good. It's such a big difference when they go from rolling in the dirt for a couple days and then grooming them. So I'm gonna go ahead and brush his mane and tail now, starting with his tail. His tail looks like he rubbed up on something because it looks white and ashy. Probably our white fence. Let's try to get that off of him. All right. His tail is so long, so pretty. He actually has a really nice mane and tail. It's not coarse like typical like horsehair. It's actually kind of soft and untangles really easily and doesn't tangle up very easily. And now his mane is even softer than his tail. It literally feels close to human hair, just a little coarser. Good boy. You are being so good. You good boy. Saying thank you. All right, we gotta get your little forelock because your hair is looking pretty messy. Got a little bit of bad head. Like, what do you have going on here? There we go. Oh, so studious. He's like, Mom, stop. You're a good boy. Last thing for his little grooming session is picking his hoofs. So he's so good about getting his hoofs picked. He's actually really good at just picking his hoofs up. All right, Lily, let's show him what you got. Good boy. my gosh, this is why you pick horses' feet. It's not a stone, but it's kind of like a berry, but I'm sure it's causing him a little bit of discomfort because it was stuck in there. Now that he's all nice and clean, his tail is brushed out, we need to get those hair follicles. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it on his tail because the same thing when we did with Cash, we found that the tail was the easiest and Cash didn't even flinch, so I'm assuming there was no feeling from that. We actually have to get a good bunch. So I like to do it in little small patches so that it's not like a huge clump coming out because they really need it down to the follicle. So I use this type of grooming tool that just has some resistance and where you can actually stick the hair in and then pull. So I just wrap it around and then pull. So this is the first clump that I got. It's pretty good. You can see all the little follicles at the end. So this was a good little pull that we did. So we just need to do this a couple more times and we're good to go. We got all of our follicles. Now we just have to send it off to the lab and wait for the results. So it's been a little bit since we last chatted, and that's when we took a hair sample and sent it off to the lab, and the results are in, you guys. I'm so excited to find out what breed our rescue killpen horse really is in today's DNA test results. I gave him some cookies since his participation last time was so good, and we hope that his participation today is just as good when we read him his results of what kind of horse he is. You are being so brave. And 2 seconds before this, you guys, I was giving him treats and I got my finger bit. So if you see the redness, whatever breed of horse this is just bit my finger. Anyways, Louie, are you ready to find out what breed of horse you are?
He knows.
A very cute horse.
He knows.
Wait, he does know. I guess he would know.
know.
That is weird. Where are you keeping these secrets from me?
He knows his mom's Italian.
All right, you guys, they sent some results over, so it's time to talk about the results all together. Let's see. Like I said, when I was telling you guys if you want to do this test that there's maybe some inaccuracy to it, I don't know. Because the test kind of says that there could be possibility that it's not completely accurate. And I'm going to read you a little insert. This is the same test that we did for Cash, so I might have said this in that video too, but it says horse ancestry testing at Texas A&M University is based upon comparing the DNA genotype of the subject horse, to a reference panel of 50 horse breeds using a computer program based upon maximum likelihood analysis. The variants present at each genetic marker system tested for the subject horse, are compared to those for each reference breed. For each breed comparison, the probability that the subject horse came from that breed is calculated based upon the product of all the system's genotype probabilities. So then it says, we then report the 3 breeds with the highest probability that the subject horse, Louie, could have come from the breed in order of their probability of being an ancestral breed. So then they say basically that they can't give proportions of the breed, so we're not going to know how much % of one breed or the other is, but they're going to give us 3 options of what breed that they think that he is. They say the result cannot give the proportion of the breed that the subject horse may have. That really isn't possible because horses are so genetically similar. The test is reasonably good, but there is no way to determine how accurate it is. If a purebred horse is tested, it will most likely always be assigned to the correct breed. When a 2-breed cross is examined, the 2 parental breeds will almost certainly be given a very high probabilities, although not necessarily the first and second assignments. Okay, anyways, if you guys want to read all about it, you can go in the link. But now that we read their synopsis of everything, so we're gonna look at the results. Come on, Louie, come here. Oh, what a good boy. You might not know what kind of breed he is, but he definitely knows his name. Okay, are you ready? So I got this document, and I'll pop it up on the screen once I tell you guys all the breeds. So here we go. Let's start with his 3rd assignment, how they call it, because there's columns. You guys will see in a minute when I put it up there. But there's columns, and basically it gives 1st, 2nd, and 3rd assignment. And I don't know if one means greater than the other, but I think that what we read meant like the 1st and 2nd would be like the greatest, okay? We're gonna start with the 3rd, because we're gonna go from like least to greatest, I guess. So the 3rd option that they're giving us is Morgan. So he has some Morgan in him is what they're saying, I believe is where I'm getting that from. So we were told that he was a Morgan. So we are seeing that in the 3rd assignment, which is interesting because I thought it would be like the 1st assignment, but that's interesting. So now we're gonna go to the 2nd one where we read the 2nd column. And this is Hanoverian, which is interesting because I didn't even think about that. Let me pop up the breeds really quick. So this is what a Morgan looks like, and this is what a Hanoverian looks like, so we can just compare them. But now, their first assignment is interesting because this was actually the third assignment for Cash, so this is weird. And I was actually kind of confused because I never heard of this horse breed before that video, and it's the Selle Francaise. So I don't know anything about that breed except from that last video when I DNA'd Cash, that you guys said that was a pretty rare breed. So it was interesting that it was found in Cash, but now that we have another horse that it's possibly found in, and that's the top assignment, so that's the first assignment that they're showing. So I'm gonna pop up that little chart right here on the screen somewhere. But as you guys can see on this chart, it has first assignment, second assignment, third assignment with columns, and then all the 50 horse breeds that they go through. So of the 50, they're saying that his first assignment was the Selle Francaise, the second was Hanoverian, and third was Morgan. So there is good possibility that he actually is a Morgan because, like they said, if there was some crossbreeding. But super interesting that the first one was the Selle Francaise and then the Hanoverian. So I don't know. It's crazy. I guess we don't really fully know, but we do know that we can accurately say that he is Morgan at least because that's what we were told, and also it is showing up in the DNA. So really interesting. I don't know. Are you just a little Selle Francaise pony? So of the three on the internet, those are just what the internet gave us. We have a picture of the Morgan horse, picture of the Hanoverian, and then picture of the Selle Francaise. What do you guys think that Louis looks mostly like? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And if you guessed in the beginning, make sure that you differentiate which horse you actually thought he looked like. Because if you guess and then tell me, it's gonna get confusing. So just let me know which picture by writing it out. I think he looks mostly like this picture. Anyways, so now that we know, we finally have a little bit of a conclusion on what breed he is, but regardless, he's still a horse that will live here no matter his breed. It's interesting just to find a little bit more about him and, you know, maybe the characteristics behind that type of breed. If it's similar to how he's acting, maybe they're very interesting breeds. I don't know. I don't know much about any of those breeds, right? Except that my barn is filled with Morgans and Selle Francaise. Who would have thought? I don't know, you guys, it's just a joke. But super exciting if you guys like today's video. If you guys are excited that we kind of found out about Louis' breed, make sure you go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. Make sure you turn on those post notifications so you don't miss any of these videos. And of course, if I chance my post notification shout out today, shout out goes to... All right, you guys, we love you and we'll see you in the next one.